All right, friends, are you ready to rock and roll? We're going to continue making some 3D shapes. Today we are going to be making 3D shapes from rectangle forms. So our project's going to be some ice cream. I keep calling it ice cream, but they're popsicle sticks. So we're going to be working through this together. As usual, I am going to walk kind of quick through the directions, but you can pause the video and slow it down at any point. So what I'm going to start with is the vertical line for the corner of the ice cream. So you're going to come down your paper a little bit from the top and draw a vertical line that goes all the way to about 3/4 of the way at the bottom. If you need a book or a notebook or something to help you get a straight line, you are more than welcome to use that. At school, we would be using a ruler. Okay, after you get that done, we are now going to do a downwards diagonal line on one side. And then on the other side, you're going to do the same thing in the other direction. Try to keep the lengths the same. So I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. And basically what I made is an arrow. Now down at the bottom, you're going to draw some more downwards diagonals. Again, try to keep them all the same length. So this one is going to go downwards. And if I were to draw my finger down, you can see this one might need to be a little bit farther out, but I'll find out once I go to draw that line down. And then on this side, same thing, another downward angle. So basically this is how you start the shapes of your popsicles. And you want to imagine that you're looking at them from the corner, okay? So what we're going to do now is draw a line on each side. You want it to connect from the top to bottom. So when you're drawing that down, if it's not going to meet the bottom piece, slow down and just extend and elongate that bottom diagonal line. So I'm going to take my line, try to keep it straight, and I'm going to come down, but I'm going to slow down once I get close so I can make sure. So as you can see, I can tell if I keep going down, I'm not going to hit that point. So I might have to make this piece a little longer first and then go down. And it's kind of like a game of back and forth until they meet. Same thing on this side. All right. So I have that now. I'm going to go in and do the stick, the popsicle stick. So right in this area here where it's open, I'm going to do a loop. And then I'm going to do an edge on that loop that meets at the bottom like this. Now we're going to bring some lines into that popsicle stick to do the back part of the popsicle. You're going to have that touch the edge of the popsicle stick, and we're going to try to touch around the same area on the popsicle stick as well. So I'm going to come from this corner and draw a diagonal that touches the popsicle stick. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and it should try to kind of line up with the other one. So I'm going to draw that about right there. Now we're going to do the connecting popsicle because you have two popsicles. So I'm going to go ahead and do another diagonal line, but this one's going to go upwards. So try to keep it about the same length that this one was, but instead of downwards, it's going to come from that corner and it's going to go up. Okay, and then now we're going to do a line from there that's vertical. It's the corner piece of the next popsicle, and you want it to be as long as this one. So just about where this one ends is where your next one should end. So I'm going to draw a line. Till about right there. Okay, and now we're going to do the bottom parts of that popsicle. So how this one's going to work is you actually can't see as much of the popsicle as this one. So you're going to do a diagonal line that goes right to the corner of this one. So it's a downward diagonal that goes to the corner of the last. And then up here we're going to do another diagonal. So you're basically getting that arrow back in there. Try to keep it the same length as this one. So another diagonal downward line. And then another diagonal downward line from this corner, that middle line. And again, try to keep it the same length as the top one. So when you draw that side line, they meet. I'm now going to very slowly draw that line down. Ooh, ooh, very close, very close. I'm just gonna make this an inch longer. Perfect. Okay, go ahead and do that next popsicle stick. So I'm gonna go in, draw that U, the edge, and then the points that meet on the side. Okay, so I've got my popsicle done. I'm now going to do a little shading with some crayon. What we talked about in the other classes is how do you make a color dark with a crayon. You want to push hard on it. So with a 3D form, to make it look even more 3D in art, not only can we draw the shapes a certain way, but we can also add some highlights and shadows. So one end of our popsicle is going to be the shadows, and the other ends are going to be the highlights. Now, if I was looking at this, where would the sun be in the picture? Would it be on this corner, you think? Or do you think the sun is in this corner? Think about where you think the sun is shining. If you guessed this corner, you got it right, because the highlighted part of the popsicle sticks is on the left-hand side, so that's telling us that the sun is shining on the left-hand side of them. So I'm going to go ahead and find just one color that I want to use for my popsicles. I'm going to use blue in my directions, but you can use whatever you want. We are going to color in just the right-hand side of our popsicles, okay? So I'm not saying the whole right popsicle. I'm saying just the right side of it. So some friends get confused and they think I mean one color popsicle is going to have a dark value and the other's not. No, just one side of them. So if you're not really sure what that means, just look up here so you can see. So your goal right now is pressure. So I'm going to go in on the side here, right-hand side, and I'm pushing hard, and I'm coloring in hard on the right-hand side of that popsicle. Now, if you hold your crayon near the tip, you're not going to break it. If you hold your crayon in the middle, you're going to end up breaking it. This will not work with markers. You cannot create values with pressure with markers. You can mix colors to create different values, but you cannot make values or darker shadows by pushing on a marker. It will just ruin it. So if you don't have crayons, sometimes colored pencils will work, but then it's going to take you forever to color that in with a colored pencil. So it'll work, but it just will take longer. All right, now I'm going to find the right-hand side on this one, and that's right here. So same thing, I'm pushing hard. You will probably have to go a little slower. This plumber's been coloring for a long time, so I'm an expert. But take your time, okay? Don't go as fast as me. I just have to go fast because the video does run out if I take too long. All right, and now there's going to be some shadows on the bottom of our ice cream. So this area around our popsicle sticks is also going to have a shadow because, you know, there's not going to be a lot of light touching this part of our popsicle because it's on the bottom. You don't really, there's all this stuff on top creating shadows. Okay, so now what we have left is where our lighter values need to go. So how do we do that? By pushing lightly on our crayon. So very lightly, creating a light value. We're creating a highlight now for where the sun is hitting your popsicle. Notice how I'm going vertically up and down with my crayon. That's just to make it easier to color in because it's such a long shape that I'm coloring. I tend to like to just do long vertical. See, I'm going quick. I went outside the lines. Not always perfect, okay? All right, so I've got that all colored in. I'm now going to do the popsicle stick bottoms. You can use whatever color you want, but I'm just going to use brown. So let me grab my crayon. I'm going to go into that edge I drew, and that edge I drew, if it's matching mine, should measure up with the shadows on the popsicle part, but if it doesn't, that's okay. Just flip it around. So I'm going to go in and push hard on the edge, and then go and push light in the front side of that popsicle stick. So that's it for the background. I really left it up to the rest of our friends how they wanted to do the background. For me, I did just like some wavy lines that look like melted drips coming off the page, but I have some really neat ideas. Think about contrast. I chose blue colors in the background to complement my warm color popsicle stick. Opposites attract sometimes in art when it comes to your background. So I'm going to leave that part up to you because what I'm really looking for is you can create values with your crayon and that you can make 3D shapes. All right, have fun, friends.